Hey, what's up guys? Today you're gonna learn how to do this epic eye transition in DaVinci Resolve. We're gonna do a little bit of tracking, masking, color correction, and add my little bit of special sauce on the end to tie everything together. And yes, you can do this in the free version in all under 12 minutes. It's pretty easy to do. So with that said, let us begin. To do this transition, you'll need two clips. You'll need one of an eye, and then you'll need a clip of whatever you want. A drone shot looks good because you'll be flying through the eye into a forward moving shot. So the first thing you want to do is pick the point of where you want the transition to occur with the second clip. So I like the point of right where it kind of flies through the palm trees right here. I'm going to put that on top of the eyeball clip. And then I'm going to come to the end of where the eyeball clip is and cut the FPV shot. Also, you might want to do your final color correction and color grading. So I'm going to do that by adding one of my LUTs to the eyeball clip and also to the drone shot. I'm going to use my film look LUT, which you can actually get linked down in the description. Then you'll want to highlight both of these clips here, right click and select new fusion clip. By default, we are looking at the drone shot. So what we want to do is click on the merge node and hold down Command and push T to swap the inputs. That puts the eyeball in the foreground on top of the drone shot. Let's rename this to eyeball and rename this one drone shot. With the eyeball node selected, hold down Shift and press spacebar and type in planar tracker. I'm gonna use the planar tracker, but you guys can kind of use whatever tracker you want. I'm gonna come up here to the inspector. I'm going to select set and change the motion type to translation and rotation. Go ahead and just kind of click around the eyeball. And then I'm going to track all the way to the end. And then I'm going to track all the way to the beginning. Then select Create Planar Transform. Let's go ahead and get rid of this planar tracker node here and connect this planar transform that we just created to the eyeball. Now, the reason we created tracking data for the eyeball is because we're going to add a mask. We're going to select the eclipse. Make sure when you add the eclipse, you connect it to the yellow input on the planar transform. With the eclipse node selected, come up here to the right-hand side under the inspector and select invert. You'll want to resize this to cover the cornea and the pupil of the eyeball. And as you can see, since we use the tracking data, this sticks directly to that part of the eyeball, which is key to making this look realistic. Go ahead and turn up the soft edge a little bit. With the eclipse node selected, let's go ahead and add a polygon. Now, what we're going to want to do is click right below this eyelid and kind of just estimate where the eyelid is, because we want to mask out this part so it looks like it's part of the eyeball underneath the eyelid. Highlight all the points underneath the eyelid and come up here and round it out. Then go ahead and make your micro adjustments. Now, doing these adjustments, we are in the middle of the timeline, so we're going to have to go through the entire shot and make sure that this line stays in line with the eyelid. So go throughout your entire clip and move the points that we just created accordingly. Now, when you get to the beginning of the eyeball opening, what you want to do is go frame by frame and move the polygon line so it matches up exactly with the eyeball. So click in here, go one arrow key backwards on the keyboard, bring this down, keep repeating that process until the entire eyeball is closed with the mask. With this polygon node selected, come up here to the right-hand side, click on Settings, and select Motion Blur and turn that thing up all the way. That way, when the eye opens, it creates a nice little fade and some motion blur to make it look realistic. With the Polygon 1 node selected that we've been working on, let's go ahead and add another polygon node. Click on the lower eyelid, create a mask, so that way it looks like it's set inside the eye. It looks more natural. And then go ahead and move the mask along the eyelid throughout the entire clip so it creates a nice clean looking line. Now remember, you can highlight all the points that you want to round out and soften out the curve instead of having a linear line. Come up here to the left-hand side where this little curve adjustment is and select smooth. Go ahead and make your tweaks and make adjustments until you've done it across the entire clip. Once you've done that, go ahead and come up here to the right-hand side and just turn up the soft edge a little bit so it just fades that mask into the eyelid. And then go ahead and click on the first polygon and turn up the soft edge as well. So I'm going to select the first eclipse here. I'm going to click on the eclipse to add an eclipse. and I'm going to adjust the width and the height of this ellipse to go specifically over the pupil. Then turn up the soft edge a little bit. Perfect. Next, with the eyeball node selected, hold down Shift and press spacebar and type in transform. Add the transform node. Go to the part of the clip that you want to zoom through where you want to do the transition, and I'm going to pick right about halfway. On the right-hand side, I'm going to click on the keyframe. Then I'm going to move forward to right about here, and I'm going to type in, I think, right around 50. Yeah, okay. That looks good. Maybe even turn it up a little bit more. We could do 65. So now we have something that looks like this. Now it's a really fast zoom. So what you'll want to do is come up here to the spline, click on it, and then select the transform size. On the first point, highlight it and just select S to smooth it out. That creates more of a gradual zoom in. If you want to make it even more gradual, you can grab this point and pull it out. And that flows really well. Then to make this look a little bit more realistic, we're going to highlight the eyeball node, hold down Command and push C, and then Command V it. Then click on the merge node and select merge node. Connect the eyeball node to this next merge node. We want to blend the two. So select this second merge node, come up here to the right-hand side, select settings, and turn the blend mode down. I'm going to go to right about 4.4. Then I'm going to select the transform node, hold down Command and push C to copy it. And I'm actually going to right click this time and select paste instance. This basically creates a new node exactly like the transform node here, but any adjustments I make to the transform node here will automatically be updated basically with this second instance of this transfer node. I'm going to scroll to the point in my timeline to right about here, and I'm going to select the merge node. I'm going to select the keyframe under the blend option, and I'm going to drag basically till about this point and turn the blend mode all the way down. So now we have something that kind of fades in like that. All right, now let's make this look even better. Go ahead and select the drone shot. Hold down Shift and press spacebar and type in transform. What we'll want to do is come up here to the right-hand side and turn the size down. Now we want to scroll to the point of where it starts to zoom. So right about here is where it starts to zoom. So I'm going to keyframe the size of the transform for the drone shot, and I'm going to scroll to the point of where it needs to basically fill the frame, and I'm going to turn the size up. Now I'm going to go a little bit past 1. I'm going to go beyond 1. So now I zoom through this shot just to make sure that the zoom of this still is correlating with the eyeball. I'm going to zoom up a little bit more here as I move throughout the timeline. And then when it gets to the point of fading out from the eyeball, I'm going to make it kind of zoom back to 1. And I've just been keyframing the size here. Then I'm going to click on the spline, and you'll see a bunch of curves and adjustments that we've made. So I only want to focus on this transform number 2. So that's the only thing I'm going to have turned on. I'm going to turn off the merge node, and I'm just going to have transform 2 here. And I only want to have the size. I'm going to basically highlight all of these and push S to smooth out the zoom. All right, so once everything kind of lines up smoothly and you get everything the way you want it to, let's go ahead and add some squishiness, some texture as you fly through the eyeball. So with the merge node 2 selected, hold down Shift and press spacebar and type in displace. Find the displace option and add it. Then let's go ahead and add a fast noise node. Connect that node to the displace like that. So where I want the texture of the eyeball, where we actually fly through it, is right about here. So with the displace node selected, I want to make sure that I have the refraction strength set to 0 because I don't want to have any effect of it over the entire clip. I'm going to keyframe it. I'm going to scroll a few frames in the timeline, turn up the refraction strength, and then come back to where it completely fades out and turn the refraction strength back down to 0. Now I'm going to move halfway through where this refraction strength keyframes were happening. And I'm going to click on the fast noise and adjust the size of things. I can even keyframe the size if I want to kind of create like this ripple effect. And what you can do is come through and keyframe the detail, the contrast, all kinds of things. You can go as funky as you want. I think being more subtle will be more effective here. So I'm going to come to the very beginning of this keyframe here, select the fast noise, and I'm going to keyframe the seethe. And I'm just going to go basically until the very end where this keyframe turns off the refraction strength. Click on the fast noise and just turn up the seethe. So then that way, when you go through the eyeball, it creates like a jelly kind of thing. And you can keyframe the scale as well. Like you can start here at 6.3, go to the very end and turn it all the way down. And it'll create this kind of an effect, kind of like a bloop. So it's a little bit more subtle, but it's cool. It like adds waviness texture like you're going through an eyeball. And then play with the contrast if you want. You can do all kinds of things. All right, now let's hop back to the edit page. Now let's take it a step further and make this look even more epic. Come up here to the left-hand side and select Effects. Select on Effects once again and drag an adjustment clip on top of the composite that we just created. Then go ahead and select Fusion. You'll want to drag my shaky sauce macro into the node viewer. You can get it linked down in the description. It's freaking epic. Check this out. Right now, by default, it's just kind of shaky all over the place, and it's showing the lines on the side. So the first thing you want to do is just turn up the zoom a little bit to the point where you don't see any duplicate replicates on the side. Then I'm going to turn down the shake speed to about 3.54. Then I'm going to hop back into the edit timeline and just see where the zoom occurs, which is right about there. I'm going to drag the adjustment clip on top of it and then adjust and trim the end of that adjustment clip to be right over the eyeball of the shakiness, and then it kind of just makes its way through. It's really cool. And within this adjustment clip, if you don't like the way it shakes, you can come up here to the shake randomize and just kind of adjust whatever you want. You can adjust how much it shakes on the X or Y axis, but it just creates a very organic feel when you're going through the eyeball. You could even wait to add this adjustment clip where it gets right up to the eyeball, and then it does the shakiness, adjust accordingly, obviously, and it kind of feels like you're making your way through. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys in my next video. Oh, and like and subscribe. Smash that button if you haven't already.